In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
Hello, everyone. Science Viking here, and it is time to return to Darkest Dungeon. Oh, well, the previous team are gradually being put back together from all the crazy things I put them through last week. Let's look into spending some of our loot. Let's see, the Abbey isn't maxed out. So let's see if I can upgrade the Penance Hall. So I need 19 crests and 15 busts. Let me see. 12 plus 7 is 19. Unfortunately, I can only trade them in increments of 3. Okay, so now it's just a matter of needing 15 busts, which is 13 more than we currently have. Well, that'll get us 15 more. And this has me wondering if I should just max out the transept instead. Well, I need 8 more crests and 8 more busts. I'm pretty sure I can get that with the stuff we have. So 9 more crests. Now let's trade away some deeds. And I can. Well, let's do that instead, so it's one more thing that's maxed out. The extra slot could potentially be useful, but that's pretty much all the heirlooming we can do. So I guess we're done weaving heirs for this episode, or for this week. Let's see, accuracy stones are okay. Plus 3% critical chance could be nice for that critical stone. Flash fire gunpowder. Tempting, but I think not. Honestly, let's look into the survivalist. Let's see. Bertrand has experimental vapors, self-medicate, and then pep talk and encourage. Wound care is pretty good. Leeches is arguably even better since it can get rid of disease. As is the cure, but that only works on him. I'm gonna get leeches and the cure. As usual, I'm gonna prioritize training the highest level people. Let's see. He already has a lot of good ones, but at the same time, instruction. We've seen instruction is extremely useful when you use that on a leper, because it fixes the leper's only weakness, which is his lack of accuracy. So I'm going to learn that. I'm finally actually learning to make use of camping skills. Let's see, Revel is... that got a whole bunch of people killed last time. Battle Trance could be pretty good, since I tend to keep the Hellion in the frontmost position anyway. Honestly, I want to learn Battle Trance because I often camp right before a boss fight, and so having a Hellion use Sharpened Spear and Battle Trance, giving her plus 25% damage and plus 10% critical rate for the boss fight, could make a huge difference. Bowen. Let the mask down, Bloody Shroud, Quarantine. Let's see, Reflection. You know, a lot of his abilities aren't that useful, but Wound Care is better than Let the Mask down. Because, especially since the leper can de-stress himself during fights using... I think it's either Absolution or Solemnity. I think his is Solemnity and the Abomination has Absolution. But, I may have that backwards. But... because he can de-stress himself during battles, stressing his companions to de-stress himself isn't really that helpful. By comparison, I mean, Wound Care isn't amazing, it's one of the ones everyone can learn, but it isn't bad. Honestly, the Leper's only good unique camping skill is Reflection. Combining Reflection with the Man-at-Arms is Instruction. Reflection plus Instruction can make a Leper incredibly dangerous. But as we saw in one of the... I don't remember which boss it was that I used that on, but... well, we've seen what can happen. Let's see, Sigmund has Chant, Bless, another boost to accuracy, Sanctuary. But you know, Pray is pretty good too. Pray is honestly better. I'd happily trade either Encourage or Pep Talk for Pray, or just have these four. Because honestly, there's no, I don't know, I guess it depends. It's really pretty situational. Encourage reduces more stress but only works on one person. Pray reduces the same amount of stress as Encourage, but only if the target is religious. But it reduces everyone's stress. Well, let's learn it. And Koliar, I must have scrolled past him. Well, the only one he doesn't have is Encourage, and I'm fine with him not having Encourage. I don't love it, actually. Did I get Vane? I don't think I got Vane yet. Let's see. Tracking. Reducing the chance of being surprised is good. But this is how... Let's see. I actually don't like planned takedown very much. Honestly, he already has 4 good ones. Let's see. Clean Guns. Bandit Sense. Which also prevents nighttime ambush. Gallows Humor is good. So he's not... So the Grave Robber isn't the only one who has Gallows Humor. Unparalleled Finesse, which buffs his melee abilities. I'm actually going to learn Gallows Humor, and I'd probably trade Pep Talk for Gallows Humor in those situations. Anyway, I'm going to hold on to our remaining 5,000 gold so that we can afford to finance the next expedition. And... let's go die horribly in a dungeon somewhere. That sounded better in my head. Ooh, we could take on the Flesh. And get the Flesh's heart. Okay. If we're taking on the Flesh, what kind of team composition do we want to have? Let's see. I would definitely want Koliar, because Harvest and Slice Off are extremely useful. And all of them can be used from position 3. Let's see. Bertrand, we're not bringing a Plague Doctor. We have a Hellion as a front runner. She's a bit fragile, but is able to hit incredibly hard. And between If It Bleeds, Iron Swan, and Wicked Hack, we can hit every enemy as long as she's in position 1. So... let me see. Bowen. Alright, so... and if we're doing Bowen, we want to make sure that Koliar has Tiger's Eye. And then Bowen, he has Reflection. As well as Purge, which can be extremely useful. Now we just need a medic. So Sigmund is good. Let's drop Pep Talk and Encourage for Prey and Sanctuary, especially since the Leper is also religious. And let's drop our Vestal in position 4, and I'm a little nervous with how many of these people are resolve level 5, rather than with half these people being resolve level 5 instead of 6, but I think we can do it. Okay, I don't like the Hell's Hairpin. Bleeding Pendant is good, though. And what else? I don't remember if the Flesh is unholy or not. And there won't be very much that is unholy. Let's see. Hard Skin increases her protection. Yeah, I definitely don't want to give her the Hell's Hairpin because she has Night Blindness. Crescendo Box, plus 2 speed, plus 15% damage, and plus 10% stress. I wish I knew whether or not the Flesh was unholy. Let me see something. So, unfortunately, there's no way to find that out other than looking it up, which I'm not going to do. So, I'm going to go with the crescendo box. The extra stress is manageable, and the extra speed and the extra damage can be extremely helpful. Now, for you... unequip all trinkets. Yes, I realize that includes for the person that I just equipped. But Fortunate Armlet, extra accuracy and critical chance. And let's see, Healing Armlet can increase his healing received. He's not going to be in position 1 because the Hellion is. So... okay, the Prophet's Eye only works if he's in position 4. Let's see. Actually, I'm betting that the flesh is Eldritch. For our Hellion, I'll give her the Eldritch Slayer's ring, along with the Bleeding Pendant. Even with the reduced dodge, her dodge is still 22, which is pretty good. Now let's see about... let's see. You know, the extra stress resistance and the extra reduced stress and virtue chance isn't useful because I won't let the torch get that low. But the 12% death blow resistance could be very nice, along with 30% extra 30% bleed scare chance. The critical chance isn't that useful because I'm planning on having him just be all about inflicting bleed. Let's see. Sacred Skull is plus 30% healing. Home is plus 25%, whereas the Ancestor Scroll is plus 25%. What's your max HP? 45, so minus 15%. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Sacred Scroll and the Tome of Hope. Alright, we got everybody equipped. I'm not nervous at all. There's no way this can go wrong. Alright, well, it's now or, really just later, honestly. We could put this off, but I'm not going to because I'm an idiot. Alright, we have plenty of torches. Plenty of anti-venom. A lot of blight in there. Plenty of bandages. A couple keys. A little holy water. That's probably the least useful supply item for the wards. In fact... with the shortage of money... that should be good. I'm bringing, I'm gonna need 4 of those. So we don't need that much food either. Honestly, 12 is plenty. I bring 1 holy water. And yeah, we're kind of broke. Well, let's see what happens.
The spasmodically squirming, braying, and snorting half-corpses were heaped each upon the other until at last I was rid of them. The warrens had become a landfill of snout and hoof, gristle and bone, a mountainous, twitching mass of misshapen flesh fusing itself together in the darkness.
You know, it isn't every day you manage
The thing is more terrible than I can describe. An incoherent jumble of organ, sinew, and bone.
You know, it isn't every day that you manage to create an eldritch abomination by accident. Yep, plus 30% damage until camp. I'm glad I gave that to the Hellion. The amazing powers of booze. It isn't every day, though, that you manage to create an eldritch abomination by accident. That's honestly kind of impressive in a fucked up sort of way.
The ground quakes.
Blacken him. If only we could have stunned him. That would have been really nice, you know? I'm fine with it not being critical hit as long as it stuns the guy. Ooh.
Death waits for the slightest lapse in concentration.
Ooh, that's not good. That's thoroughly done. Oh, let's go harvest. Heck. Harvest again. Okay. Neither of them is bleeding for more than their current health. So Divine Grace. Get a lot of healing on one person. Ooh, 17. And let's finish this off.
Monstrous size has no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
Vestal's bleeding for quite a bit. Point blank shot did not very much. Use Battle Ballad.
A brilliant confluence of skill and purpose.
Up bandage. And let's go for some critical healing.
The wounds of war
And non-critical
can be
healing is good too.
but never hidden.
Iron Swan would be really nice if it would hit. Oh, Solemnity. That's the leper's stuff.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
Okay, now that just leaves the Fusilier. Unfortunately, he is really attached to being alive. And I'm afraid I have to object to him continuing to be alive. Oh, that'll do him. Ah, critical Solemnity. The least useful critical possible, since it would have reduced his stress to 0 and fully healed him without being critical.
A momentary abatement.
Even when I get criticals, they don't actually do anything helpful.
This expedition at least promises success.
I'm also going to change something, because I made a mistake with Koliar's setup. There is no situation in which I will actually want to use Dirkstaff, so I'm just going to replace that. Now we can reduce everyone's stress in addition to increasing the damage. Right. The Thunderer is the problem. Let's see if we can finish him off with Judgment. We can!
Continue the onslaught.
Congratulations, you just got killed by a white mage. Unfortunately, the Hellion is being munched to death. Let's go with Harvest. It'll chop. Hack. Let's go with if it bleeds on the
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Right, and slice off on the other one, and that one's down. That just leaves the one all the way in the front.
Improvement.
And let's give the Vestal a time to shine. Ooh! Not used to Judgment actually doing meaningful damage. But I suppose when the enemy's health is low enough, anything's meaningful.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Alright, still no scouting. We could be wandering right into the boss. And
Carelessness will find no clemency in this place.
That will be another illustration of why scouting would be helpful. I mean, it's not like we brought a Warren's Explorer with us on this mission. You know, someone who has an increase in scouting chance than Warren's. Also, that meat hooker is in exactly the wrong position if he wants to live. Why? Well, I'll demonstrate that in a second. Yes, he can move himself back one, but he's still in the wrong position. I'm gonna go with Iron Swan, see if we can just end the heat. It'll take a second hit.
How quickly the tide turns.
However, let's see if I can end the Thunderer too. Yeah, the Slayer is basically a tank. Let's see if I can eliminate the, Also, they completely screwed up my plan. I was going to use Harvest, and that would hit the meat hooker, even though, he's in stealth. But at this point, Koliar, just inspire yourself. I can't have you getting afflicted just yet. Dodge the vomit. He's got that. Yeah, the Jester's very experienced at dodging vomit this time working with bars. Yeah, you work that scene, you know when to duck when somebody's starting to blow green around the gills. Alright, and now let's go for Hugh. Alright, that's the end of one of them.
Give them no quarter.
Oh, and that's almost the end of one of us. Well, you have high protection. I don't care. I'm still just going to take you down with that. I was hoping to use Harvest, but you insist on going down the hard route. In the meantime, I'm just going to see if I can get Collier's stress down to a more manageable level. Let's see if we can get another 17 for you. Well, 15. That's good enough.
Confidence surges.
That's the end of the dangerous ones. The Slayer can be a problem, but only if you let it.
A dizzying blow to body.
Butcher, on the other hand, can be also. Sigmund, you are a healer. The Butcher, on the other hand, can be a problem no matter what. And the Jester has screwed. Wonderful. Keeping your stress to stay below 15%, below 50%. Let's just end the Heaver so he's out of the fight. Oh. So he got 2 turns.
Facing the abyss.
So the Slayer got 2 turns to the Vestal's 1. And that's how he managed to get her onto death's door. I understand how that happened, but that requires some impressively bad luck for us that could happen.
Foolish horrors. Brought low and driven into the mud.
Alright. Let's drop the holy water from the crests. Pretty soon crests won't really matter, though.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
So, protective padlock. I'm willing to drop the onyx for the protective padlock. Alright. Get everybody back to our default party order. I'm not going to rest, since we only get to rest once, I'm not going to rest until we know where the boss is, at least. Alright. Okay, I have to... Yeah, I know, let's collect ourselves. Let's disarm the trap while we're collecting ourselves. Alright. And mediocre loot. Actually, honestly, 100 gold is a bit less than mediocre. Okay, we have some successful scouting. We have an obstacle and a curio, or just 2 curios. I'm gonna go with the 2 curios. We may as well hold on to our shovels for now. Nah, we only have 2 bandages and I'm holding on to them. Hopefully this crate contains bandages.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home. Which
I'm going to leave behind, honestly. This is a boss fight mission. I care more about survival than loot. And we've found the boss. Okay, let's rest up. We found the boss while we're relatively fresh and early in the mission, so let's rest up. Feast
together, furtive and vulnerable.
Right.
Rats in a maze.
Sanctuary, which will also help the Hellion since she has mortality debuff. Or not. Okay. Well, the stress levels are down, so the next thing is Tiger Eye to boost the, Alright. Let's see. I forgot to equip the Hellion's new, camping ability. Well, I'll have to use Sharpened Spear. And the last thing I'm going to do is use Wound Care on the Vestal. We're not as buffed as I was hoping to be, but we went into this with more damage than I was hoping to have. So, here's hoping that we're buff enough to handle this.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
And the two frontrunners both have increased accuracy and critical rate. Okay. This one goes to the Hellion. Increased critical and damage.
Such blockages are unsurprising. These tunnels predate even the earliest settlers.
And here we go. Let's do this.
Squirming, contorting, and ever-expanding. This horror must be unmade.
Well, you're the one who made it. Apparently it's my job to fix all of your stupid mistakes. Oh! Bad.
Terrible vistas of emptiness reveal themselves.
That went heroically wrong before we even got to do anything. Okay, so the Hellion is just going to target the part with the lowest protection every turn and hope to cause as much damage as she can. Alright. Anti-venom? And you are going to use Harvest to inflict bleeding twice every turn.
More blood soaks the soil.
And that's the end of the Vestal. She literally didn't even get to do anything. This is also a bit of an issue because our Jester is at critical health. This one's going to be a bit close. Laws of life. Isn't that what they use to get you out of collapsed vehicles if you're in a car accident? Alright, continue with Harvest. This inflicts more damage per turn. Okay, now it's bleeding for 16. Okay.
At the very
now Koliar is at death's door. Right. Which part has the least protection? 70, 80, 50, 50. These two are part of a tie, but I'm actually going to go for if it bleeds on the basis that bleeding is going to inflict more damage in total. Since now it's bleeding for 20. It's failed. Okay.
Reeling.
Okay, he resisted it.
To break.
Unfortunately, he is blighted now. So you can't do much other than chop, so chop the one of these two that has lower protection. Won't do much, but won't do anything apparently. Honestly, Bowen is mostly here as a Mushu, which he's kind of failing to be because the enemy is doing a very good job of targeting the more fragile team members. Koliar just does not give a fuck. I don't care that I'm at death's door, I ain't dying. You know, some people ain't got time to bleed, he ain't got time to die. Alright, once again, Harvest. Protection levels don't matter. Because the actual direct damage doesn't matter. Wicked Hack on the most fragile part. Wicked Miss. And Chop. Okay, we still need to survive one more round of this, somehow. We're almost there. Come on, guys, we're almost there. Fewer of them have changed shape. You're only bleeding for 4 now. Alright. The lowest protection anything has is 50. I'm going for if it bleeds. Ooh, critical if it bleeds. Please miss. Nice! Koliar just... Okay, the next time this part gets a turn, it dies. Bastel will survive that. And it has a total HP of 7. Well, the leper will get a turn after this anyway. So assuming, and now it's down to 4, so assuming he can do at least 4 damage on the part with the lower protection.
It is as grotesque.
There we go.
As it was in life.
You did it, guys. We lost the Vestal. Again.
Victory. But a victory nonetheless.
Okay, let's see. Let's drop all... We're not sticking around. We're not sticking around because we've already lost someone and somebody else is at death's door with no real means to heal him properly. So we're going to return to the hamlet immediately, but Koliar! Wow. Koliar just refuses to fucking die. Someone in the comments, count that for me. How many how many times did he successfully resist a death blow? Like 7? 8? Wow. He's a jester that just will not quit. And he's up to resolve level 6 too. Wait, he already was. And Bowen has a tapeworm and is obsessed with kill. Isn't he the one who was also obsessed with food? Minus 5% virtue chance, doesn't matter, virtue chance is always 0. And Steady's a significant improvement because her weapon is already maxed out. We did lose a Vestal though.
Can you feel it? The walls between the sane world and that unplumbed dimension of delirium are tenuously thin here.
Okay, first thing I want to do is sort my heroes by class. I want to see how many Vestals we still have. Okay, 1, who is resolve level 2. Is that actually it? Is Duquesne actually the team's only living Vestal? Well, shit, that's a problem. Stagecoach, please have more Vestals. Please have more Vestals. Well, we have a level 1 Vestal. It's better than nothing.
A sister of battle, pious and unrelenting.
Well, I officially want to upgrade my Stagecoach network. We need deeds. I'll start by trading away as many portraits as I have to. Let's see if I can give up some busts for deeds. Nope, I can't. Well, I'll have to give up some crests. We need to save 26 of them. Alright. Okay, we need 4 more deeds, and we need to and we can't spend more than like 14 crests. Well, we need to spend 12. And I'm maxing out the Stagecoach network because I thought the number of available heroes per week was fine, but as it turns out it was not fine when there are this many different classes and I need one specific class.
Great heroes can be found even here, in the mud and rain.
Right. Let me see what else has happened. So, let's look at the disease. Amusingly, aside from the dead person, that mission actually finished with relatively minimal damage. Bowen and Koliar are actually both at pretty low stress level. They're just diseased. And Vastal looks like she doesn't need any kind of treatment at all. Okay, Koliar. I hate to do this to. Well, we need to treat your scurvy. I really don't feel well at all. Well, you apparently died like 8 times. And Bernier, who was being treated for disease before, now needs to be treated for stress. So let's cloister him. Alright. Does anybody else immediately need treatment? Aside from needing treatment for some quirks that really need to go away. Let's see. Yeah, Bowen needs some work with his Citiomania and Hylomania. The rest is actually a lot more okay, though him being a cove phobe could be a problem because we actually need to visit the cove yet. And Swordovall could use some treatment too. Anyway, I'll look into treating some of these negative quirks next time, but first I'm going to quick get us up a fresh recording file. I will be back in a moment.
I remember days when the sun shone and laughter could be heard from the tavern.
Alright, I am back, and it's time to spend some gold. Let's start by looking at treating, some quirks. I actually don't mind Nocturnal, because the thing is, if Vayne, Vayne actually being slower than other heroes is good, because it means that another hero can get a chance to mark an enemy, and then he can exploit that mark. Let's see. Not sure exactly what Egomania does, but it's probably bad. Oh, Vasto. Let's see. Let's see. Thin-blooded isn't great, but isn't a huge deal. And Dachnomania, being obsessed with killing, can be a bit of a problem. So, Altard is a gambler who is obsessed with Satan. Let's see. I'm actually going to treat Darcy, or Sword of All's clumsy. Because, I don't know, Necromania is a problem, and Necromania could still get gotten rid of on its own. And the thing about clumsy is dodge actually still works when he's protecting someone else. He can essentially cause them to dodge. On the other hand, it would cost less to get rid of Necromania, which also means I can afford to do it another time. I assume it costs less to get rid of a skill that quirk that hasn't been locked in than to get rid of one that has. So I'm gonna get rid of clumsy. Let's see, Vayne isn't that bad. Love it. Fear of beasts could be a bit of a problem. Husho, I'm gonna treat one of his many negative, I'm gonna treat one of his many negative, quirks, and I'm gonna go with you know, Demonomania, that seems to be the most unpredictable in what effect it will have. And let's see, Canville. Sword of All has. Yeah, Sword of All needs some treatment. I'm gonna start by treating her, I'll start with Flawed Release, considering the fact that, yeah, none of these are especially special, but I'm gonna treat her Flawed Release, considering the fact that all of her useful skills are ranged. Wait, what's in that syringe? Now let's pop over to the blacksmith and see if we can upgrade Duquesne's equipment. Armor and weapon. And yeah, she's definitely going on the next mission. The next mission is going to be a novice mission to try to level up our new Vestal, because our old one died. Level up her important skills. And who else is Resolve level 1 and could potentially go with him? They need to put together a team. So, we got Darcy, Boissel, Columbell. Do we only have 5 Resolve level 1 through 2 people? Or 0 through 2 people? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we only have 5 of them, and 2 of them are Vestals. So, looks like the team is going to be a Vestal, a Man-at-Arms, a Occultist, and a Grave Robber. This is going to be interesting. I mean, that's actually a reasonably balanced team composition. The main thing is, the occultist needs to know weakening curse and vulnerability hex. And beyond that, I'd say Demon's Pull and Sacrificial Stab are the abilities he's actually going to be using. And Column Bell. Let's see, Flashing Daggers, Thrown Dagger. I want Poison Darts. And she's going to be relatively close to the front, so I may as well give her a kick to the face. Lunge isn't something I'm actually likely to use. Now let's look into upgrading the equipment of the people who've just been drafted for this mission. Well, their equipment looks like it's already good, and our funding looks like it's already low, so let's start the mission. For a second I forgot that green means novice, and I was worried for a second that we didn't have any novice missions. Let's see, so we can get the agility whistle with a short mission. We can get the sniper's ring for a long apprentice difficulty mission. Or we can get the rampart shield, which is a shield that increases the rampart ability for a long difficulty mission. I'm going to go with the sniper's ring on the basis that that can be used by more than one hero. Darcy all the way in the front. Duquesne all the way in the back. Boisseau in the middle. And Colin Bell in the middle front. Okay. We're going to use all the good trinkets, so unequip everything. Sort by class restriction. Okay. Man-at-Arms gets the survival eye, the longevity eye patch. And then, you know, I'll give him the Flesh's Heart too. Actually, no, I'll give him the Flesh's Heart instead of the longevity eye patch and pair that with something that boosts protection, like the Tough Ring, so that he can just be as durable as possible. For our Grave Robber, we have the Raider's Talisman. It only reduces their max HP by 2. And Sickening Satchel for increased damage versus Blighted. We have Eldritch Killing Incense is good because we're going to the Wield. And what else do I want you to have? Honestly, we're going to the Wield. I'll just give you Blight and Disease Resistance. And for you, same as always, Sacred Scroll and Book of Holy Healing. That's what we give every Vestal. Right. Now let's check equipped abilities, because I always forget to do that. Retribution, Defender, Rampart, and Crush. I like that combination. Let's drop Lunge for Pick to the Face, and Shadow Fade for Poison Darts. So you have Pick to the Face, Flashing Daggers, Thrown Dagger, and Poison Darts. For you, let's drop Abyssal Artillery and Weird Reconstruction. So you have Sacrificial Stab, Weakening Curse, Vulnerability Hex, and Demon's Pull. And the reason why I'm dropping Weird Reconstruction is because we have a Vestal. Divine Grace is pretty consistently better than Weird Reconstruction. Alright. If you're lucky, at least one of you will survive. Stock up on food. Plenty of torches. The Winding Wield, we're gonna need plenty of torches. Plenty of shovels. Lots of anti-venom, but don't need much in the way of bandages. Honestly, this mission is mostly about... I'll drop the extra stack of torches so that we can have one medicinal herbs, since we can also rest to replenish the torch level. This is more about getting experience for the heroes than getting money, so I'm not as worried about keys, but... You know, secret rooms are a thing. Let's bring one key in case we have one of those. Yeah, we're a little poor right now. Let's see if we can change that. Paths are littered with poisonous traps. Well, we brought a grave robber. Like a grave digger, but in reverse. Instead of putting things into graves, she takes things out of them.
I knew all these paths once. Now they are as twisted as my own ambitions.
Okay, this is going to be a bit of a hike. Explore 90% of rooms with a layout like that. Yeah. Okay. And wealth beyond measure. To the brave. Wait, there was a second curio back there. And a lot of successful scouting. Oh, stump. Which is purified by antidote. Yay, gold! Right. How many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we can skip somewhere between 1 and 2 rooms, depending on how the rounding goes. Boom! And I walked too far forward.
Carelessness will find no clemency in this place.
Well, at least she resisted being blighted by it. Which means now we just have a long hallway of nothing for a big room full of nothing. But it's valuable nothing. We gotta make sure it's properly inspected. And I'm gonna have to explore all of these rooms. But let's get the room battle and the treasure out of the way first. Alright. And for food, that's actually really helpful considering how long we're going to be here. Alright. I'm gonna go with throw and dagger and hope that it actually kills one of them. Nope. Sacrificial stab to finish it off. Ah, critical sacrificial stab. And crush.
Be gone, fiend.
Now let's see if we can get the spider with judgment. And we can't. Yay. Well, pick to the face should finish the job.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Well, let's hope that sets the tone for the rest of this. Let's focus on the No, let's not. Let's focus on the ectoplasm, because the ectoplasm can multiply. Stressful incantation is bad, but infinitely multiplying ectoplasm is worse. Let's just keep the witches stunned. You shall suffer as I have suffered.
Back to the pit.
And sacrificial stab, which deals a damage to Eldritch, back up to the Eldritch killing incense, still doesn't kill it in one hit. This is what low-level heroes are like. And cytokinesis does exactly what I feared it would. Oh, let's end that one.
Cleansed from
Oh,
our
did
lands.
that sting? Ooh, that stung. So did that.
The light, the promise of safety.
Okay, that sacrificial stab at least did what it was supposed to. And no surprise, the man-at-arms missed. I'll just move you back into position. Okay, he at least resisted Eldritch Push, and moving Wassel around is really a problem. Oh, Eldritch Pull, never mind, that is a problem. Dazzling Light on the one that's farther back to be grabbing light. And Sacrificial Miss. And Rampart, let's see if we can just stun both of them.
As the fiend falls,
You know, I've racked
hope
up,
blossoms.
in some of these more recent fights, I've racked up a pretty high kill count with my vessels. Judgment is more powerful than I gave it credit for.
Confluence of skill and purpose.
And Crush does a lot when it hits. Oh, and you found a second key.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the
In
task's
that case,
end.
I'll use our first key on the heirloom chest. If we only have one key, I'm saving that key for in case we find a secret room, because those give much better than regular chests do. And 2 empty rooms, but even though scouting has told us that they're empty rooms, we still have to investigate. Gotta be good little nothing inspectors. Okay, take out the spitter first, since there's only one of them.
Another one falls.
Trust me, there is method to the madness, and that method is judgment.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
And I'm gonna go with Rampart and hope it stuns. Which it does, because now we get to end this fight having taken no damage. I decided it was more likely that Rampart would stun than the crush would kill him.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Since we just do not hit very hard right now. Okay, and more loot.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles. Paid for in blood.
I was honestly hoping it would be something more helpful, like, supplies. Though the 24 food is definitely a good start. 24 food and 2 logs. And I'm not skipping this room because I might discover there's another room I really want to avoid later. And I'll wait on the grave robbing until after we've been to this room in case the hallway battle messes us up. Which, considering the fact that it's 2 of these guys, it very well might. They are surprised, though. So Thrown Dagger does more damage. And let's see if we can end this with Judgment.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
And once again, I'm going the lower risk approach using Rampart. Which also knocked it into position to be hit by Thrown Dagger. Though, how does throwing a dagger hurt ectoplasm? I mean, it has no organs. It's just slime.
Success so clearly in view.
I mean, usually in fiction you need, like,
a trick of the light?
blunt weapons or, like, fire or acid or something to damage slimes. And I'm not leaving this grave undisinterred. Pay attention, that was grammatically correct. I am leaving the one portrait behind. I mean, it's a death portrait. We don't need portraits that we found in graves. And the good news about this is that despite being a long class mission and a really large map, it has relatively minimal backtrack. It has some, but it's relatively minimal. Which is good because I don't need to show them on. I don't need to have these guys take on my new special diet plan that the last one did. Right. There's the trap. Just edge closer to it. I'm not sure how I feel about the mechanic that you have to be just the right distance from the trap to try to disarm it, and if you accidentally walk forward too much, you'll spring it. It kind of feels like I, the player, am disarming the trap. Okay. Gonna keep going. I don't feel like skipping this cul-de-sac, because, like I said, I don't know how many rooms I'm going to skip. However, we are going to rest relatively soon. Yeah, get to the end of this hallway, and then we'll rest there. Okay, that's the end of one. And crush! And crush!
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
Just yet. Right. And that's the last torch I think I can afford to use until after we've had a chance to rest. Ooh, 3 of them.
Masterfully
2 of them.
executed.
1 of
The
them.
ground quakes.
Still 1 of them.
A momentary.
I was hoping the Vestal would reduce it to 0, but there we go.
Ghoulish horrors. Brought low and driven into the mud.
Oh right, this has got to be a holy water interaction, and I don't have any.
precision and power.
You know, Columbell, you've been doing pretty well. Your stress level's a little high, but those criticals, you know, criticals don't lie.
Mortality clarified in a single strike.
Bad humors, that's what I've been giving all you guys for the last few weeks. It's bad humors. I'll get out.
This expedition at least promises success.
Ah, rabid gnashers. Could be a bit of a problem for our man-at-arms.
A devastating blow.
However, the grave robber appears to be having the time of her life. Never. If Columbell comes up to you in the tavern and offers to play you in a game of darts, decline. You do not want to play darts against that one. You will lose all of your money and your shirt. And Rabid Rush. I'm honestly wondering if I need to use Retribution just because it's the only way to get a decent number of hits.
How quickly the tide turns.
Oh, right, and they're faster than us too when they're not surprised, so they kind of get 2 consecutive turns. Is that your 4th consecutive critical, Columbell? Yeah, she could probably fund the entire expedition just by betting against people in games of darts. With that kind of accuracy. You just heal everyone.
A momentary abatement.
You know, it is kind of interesting. The early difficulty missions become significantly easier later in the game because you have end-game level trinkets. So you have things like plus 45% or so in total to healing. With, wow, your first non-critical. Well, I won't roll against you. So you get like these really large bonuses to healing with trinkets like the holy healing and the Sacred Scroll. And so it makes the early missions aren't really designed around having that equipment. So it makes the early missions the low difficulty missions late in the game really easy. Okay. And
remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Without lighting any more torches, I want to try to make it to here. We could rest here, and that will fully replenish the torch level, and that way we can conserve our very limited supply of torches. If any hallway battles respawn, I'll have to rethink that plan, but I think we can make it. Not to mention the fact that I believe we get better loot if there are, come on? Okay. If there are, if the light level is lower. Okay, what to drop? Honestly, 2 busts. Now I'll drop the Stalwart Buckle. We have plenty of good trinkets. The medicinal herbs are more likely to be helpful. Glad I didn't drop the busts. Okay. No new enemies. Well, let's make camp.
A moment of respite. A chance to steel oneself against the coming horrors.
And we have 24 food. We can afford to use 8 of it to de-stress as well as healing. Okay, the next thing we want is... Does anybody else have an ability that will prevent... only Unspeakable Commune, which boosts everyone's stress, so... Let's go with Sanctuary. And then, maintain equipment. I'll have Boissel encourage the, and I'll have the Man-at-Arms encourage the vessel, so get everybody's stress level a little lower. And, with no midnight surprises, let's keep moving.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
You know, I gotta admit, Darcy's stress level is surprisingly low for the fact that he's equipping the still beating heart of one of our defeated enemies. I think that's the kind of thing that would stress a guy out a little bit. Oh, another carcass. And we have the materials for that. I'm really glad I decided to feast.
A fortune, waiting to be spent.
And a torch. And a room battle. Ah, bandits. Bandits who have decided to ally themselves with the Eldritch for some reason. Well, I don't feel like being covered by the warmth of blanket fire.
A decisive
So I'm gonna open up
pummeling.
with that. And just to finish the job, Eldritch Pull, which, considering the fact that it just killed him, could really be more accurately called Eldritch Squeeze. Yep. And you decided to shank a Vestal, and you missed. Well, let's see, your stun resistance is 100%, and it's only 120 base, so I'm going to stun the other guy this time. And keep it up with the thrown daggers. How many of them did you bring, Colin Bell? I was just imagining you have, like, a bandolier of daggers that you just keep pulling from and keep stabbing you.
Well struck.
Well, he did resist the stun this time, but I was kind of expecting that. Thing is, sacrificial stab should finish the job. At some point I am probably going to use vulnerability hex, considering the fact that thrown dagger does extra damage to marked enemies. That was my original reason for having that ability equipped. It's just a situation hasn't arisen where I will actually need that. It's usually better to just have the occultist deal damage.
Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
Or the summoned lightning bolt, apparently.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
Yeah. Is anyone below full health? No, I'm gonna drop the 2 food for the Jade. Alright, shift click is how you drop things. We don't need to stock up on heirlooms as much because we've nearly upgraded everything. So, whoa! So, I'm gonna focus more on
such
money.
missteps are the exception, and not the rule.
Ooh, these guys. Oh, and we're out of formation too. It's really just the Vestal who's out of position. Okay. Concentrate on the Acolytes. Eldritch Pull, Demon's Pull on this one. How do you like it, huh? How do you like it? Unfortunately, she survived. And you get to use Eldritch Push to make us even more out of position. Well, except that the, what's-his-name is pretty good at resisting. Also, yeah, the cultists are definitely the larger threat, because these things can't... These cultists don't have the ability to mark people, which means that these things can't, use Rend the Marked. So, we have Stressful Incantation, and then we just have to deal with, Groping Swipe and Harmless Swipe. Okay, let's end this act. Let's attempt to end this acolyte. Let's light up a torch. Light. And let's just use Demon's Crush again. Because Groping Swipe barely does anything, so while the fungal scratchers are durable, they aren't really a threat. Okay, Groping Swipe can occasionally do damage. But it's the cultists that are the problem. I'm surprised we haven't run into any gladiators yet. If I can tell us things dazzling, like almost, but not quite. Just barely not quite. Well, just not the most efficient use of my abilities. I should have used the Dazzling Light on one of the other guys, or actually maybe healed, you know, for a change of pace. I do have Rampart still, though. Pick to the face. Hit the Scratcher with basically anything damaging. We'll take care of it. And Duquesne's back to full health.
Exposed to a killing blow.
You're really overhyping it, honestly. Let's go with Weakening Curse on the Scratcher. And why don't you Rampart your way back into this? Rampart really couldn't be bothered to do 4 damage instead of 3. Okay, I'll kill it with Weakening Curse then. blade resistance. High. I'll pick these guys. And Rampart missed. Well, this thing has very little ability to cause damage, and it can't heal itself or summon allies. I may as well just... Well, I suppose reinforcements could show up. I may as well use this as an opportunity to heal everybody a little bit. Of course, we all saw how that turned out the last time I did that. Well, let's just hit it with weakening curse again. Since it's in position 1, I can't hit it with thrown daggers, so vulnerability hex does nothing useful. But we're all back up to full health. Now, don't miss this time. Good. Good mana numbers. That's a good mana number. You're going to treat
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
I'm going to drop the Jade for the rubies. The Deed can stay behind. Alright. Let's get back to our default party order. Not that it's going to matter when we're surprised again next time. We are approaching the end. I think I'm going to start saving on torches again. So. And we got a madman. Throw a dagger. Deep pull. And, you know, this is the first time where I think the accusation is pretty deserved. I mean, what is he going to... I mean,
birthplace of dread.
What's he gonna do? Accuse the occultist of consorting with demons? Because we kind of already know that about him. It's like he like points at the occultist and says, "You consort with the demons!" And the occultist is like, "And? One of my weapons is a skull with a candle on it. You know what I'm about." I really probably shouldn't have used retribution now that I think about it, because that allows them to use rend. Oh, sacrificial miss. And let's just do a little bit of healing. No mortality debuffs so far. That actually surprises me a little bit. Oh, but he still has riposte, but he no longer has mark, because riposte lasts longer than mark. Right. Unfortunately, Colin Bell's accuracy appears to be wearing down a little bit. She hasn't been getting criticals like she used to. Or that's just one very evasive acolyte. Well, she's dead now. Because apparently the Man-at-Arms really does not like being yelled at. He takes that very seriously. That's the end of him. Right. Now it's just a matter of wearing this thing down, because it's high protection and it's high for a novice mission health. It's going to take a little while to finish it off. However, this is a situation where vulnerability hex is actually good for. Yeah, groping swipe doesn't move it forward, or at least can't displace corpses. It is kind of interesting. So, Judgment can get critical damage and critical healing, and those are just calculated separately.
Creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
The critical healing and critical damage are calculated separately. Right. And through here, and I think after this room is where we're going to rest our second time. Because we don't have scouting, so I don't know what the rest looks like. And we're also a little low on light and a little low on inventory space.
A spark without kindling
Feast.
is a goal without hope.
Feast. Sanctuary. And let's use chant. I know the grave robber isn't religious. Let's also use encourage. And let's use encourage again. I'd like to finish this mission with no one needing stress treatment. But if I can't do that, I at least want to make sure that nobody is,
As the light gains
afflicted.
purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
I think I'm going to take a risk and skip both of these two rooms. Actually, no, I can just go in a circle right here. There's no backtracking involved in doing these two rooms. Also, our first encounter with undead. Judgment does not do extra damage to unholy. That's surprising. Demon's Pull just to get any extra damage that I can on it. Okay, that's the end of the Gnasher. The Bone Rabble aren't really a threat, but the Gnasher can potentially cause bleeding. I guess they're more of a threat than I gave them credit for. That's one of them gone. Behold the unquenchable fire of the stars. And I'm gonna err on the side of avoiding future damage rather than healing past damage. I don't know why, but it seems kind of funny to me that the Grave Robber is the one who's had the most trouble managing stress. I feel like a person who regularly sneaks into tombs and graves and stuff to loot them. Okay, so these two rooms contain nothing, but we have a secret door over here. This is the way we're going. However,
Nature herself, a victim to the spreading corruption.
I'm not going through the
Malformed
secret door
with
just yet.
misintent.
I'm not going through the secret door just yet. I'm going to hold off until we finish the mission so that I can go back and hopefully leave immediately. I mean, there's nothing down here that needs a good inspecting. Right. Oh, this could be a problem. We got Fartillery and we've got Scratchers. Just one piece at a time. So. And Demon's Pull on this one. And Judgment on one all the way back, and it's gone!
Singular strike.
Alright. Oh, right, Escape Cloud. That's another reason why I want to kill these guys first. Okay. Oh, we have Anti-Venom. And you can't reach that with Rampart. Well, let's do it with Crush then. Alright, one more hit and it's gone, and they'll be reduced to only using Broken Swipe. More Anti-Venom. And just imagine that that thing growing out of the top is a dart. Bullseye. Vulnerability Hex on this one. We can use the Bone Dagger on the next turn. Now let's go heal up the Whipping Boy, I mean Grave Robber. Swipe, swipe, because that's all they can do. Though it does, the damage does kind of add up. Dagger. Only 5 damage, even with the extra damage to Eldritch. Well, let's just keep healing the, ooh, critical healing. So her stress was over 50% at one point, and now it's been brought all the way down to 0. And this is with a team in which nobody has stress management. We've been getting some good luck in this mission. We've been getting plenty of critical hits. Just the way I like it. Okay, that's the end of him, but the corpse is blocking him in a position where I can still hit him with the deck. Unfortunately, I can't hit him with Crush. Not for any particular reason. The Man-at-Arms is just having a low blood sugar day, I guess. And only one person has stress above 0, and only one person is in any way damaged. We left that fight with less stress than we had when we entered it. Disarm the trap doesn't reduce anyone's stress because it only reduces stress from the person doing the disarming. I believe this room is the last one we have to go to. And more loot, more torch. Well, 100 gold, of which we can carry 50. Drop the extra food. 12 should be enough for any hunger that can reasonably occur. Now that I've said that, we experience hunger for the first time on this mission. Okay, continue adventuring, because we have a secret room to loot, which means probably 3 trapezahedrons. That'll be nice. Just got a bit of backtracking, and of course this is the wheel, so backtracking takes forever. Though I did kind of do this to myself, because I could have explored these two rooms and circled around to the secret door, but I'm not smart enough to think of that. Protect us from the loving embrace of blanket fire. And yes, I am using judgment on him, there's a reason for that. Because it wouldn't have killed the Fusilier probably anyway. However, Demon's Pull, and if he survives that, he will resist being moved. Well, let's just rampart this guy then. Well, at least he's stunned. That went every kind of wrong. Let's just end the Fusilier, because I don't want to get blanket fire again. Critical specifically on the one who needed the healing. And let's just use sacrificial stab, so we're down to just the bloodletter. And the bloodletter, to top it off, is in the worst possible position to be fighting against this team. Because he's occupying positions 1 and 2, which means I believe we can actually hit him with everything. There is not an attack in our arsenal that can't hit him, except for Demon's Pull. Yeah, Demon's Pull is the only thing we can't hit him. Not to mention the fact that he has 13 hit points, is blighted and marked. So let's do Thrown Dagger, which deals extra damage to blighted and marked. Well, that's nice. And let's just finish him off with sacrificial
Their cursed champion falls.
Bunch of loot we can't carry. How close are we to the exit? Very. Drop the bandages and the antivenom since there shouldn't be any more enemies and there's no reason to take the holy water. Of course, there shouldn't have been any more enemies already, so that shows you how much that's worth. Should doesn't really count for much in this world. I mean, the Ancestor should have realized the complete insanity of what he was doing a long time before he managed to create multiple Eldritch abominations by accident. So, like I said, should doesn't really count for much. But we use the skeleton key and
Wealth
3
beyond measure.
trapezahedrons.
Awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
And, with our quest complete, let's go back to the manor. Or the
Paths
hamlet.
and roads bring soldiers and supplies. Let them arrive unharried.
And from a novice mission, we managed to get 18,000 gold in addition to our direct reward. I do kind of have to ask, though, who is paying us these rewards? Like, who are we working for that is offering us gold, heirlooms, and trinkets for completing these missions? And the Vestal is up to resolve level 3, and it is an alcoholic, apparently. I'm not sure that's a serious problem. I mean, we've seen worse quirks. However, I do need to treat her disease.
A troubling shortage of ale, and a notable absence of good humor.
Ooh, we've run out of booze. Yay. That's the worst kind of problem, we'll run out of booze. Well, I'm gonna quick get the Vestal treated for a disease. At least that doesn't... We don't need to use, like, booze-based medicine as far as I know. So, Duquesne... Let's get rid of your bad humors. Though it is amusing that the Vestal became an alcoholic on the same week that we ran out of alcohol. That could potentially create a problem. Anyway, this episode is already abnormally long. Uploading is going to be a bit of a challenge. So, I'm going to call it here. We'll spend our wondrous bounty next week. And, in the meantime, thank you all for watching. And I'll see you next time. And another one bites the dust.